What's up, everyone? It's Matt from The Unconventional Gentleman, back with the Turing Test, what is foreseeably the last episode. Now, last time we came through these doors here, we found out Tom was hitting it pretty hard. Basically, in all of the last chapter, Tom was hitting it pretty hard with the I'm sentient and not very morally sound. What a synopsis.
I would never have let the drill start if I had known the consequences. It trapped us here.
You trapped us here.
I am doing my duty. It is the right thing to do. I am a machine. I cannot do wrong.
Yes, you can.
I am a machine. Can a calculator commit evil? Can a watch do good? You are projecting onto me the personality you wish, whether that is good or evil. But I am just a speaking clock, and at the third stroke the time will be 3:41 and 55 seconds.
What the fuck? Damn. Okay, well, Chapter 7, starting off here with some large-ass puzzles. Any puzzle that involves 2 rooms immediately scares the shit out of me. So Tom brings up a good point. What the fuck does that do? Tom brings up a good point regarding can a calculator do evil? Or can a watch commit a crime? You know, it's... Ava is projecting all of these human traits onto... Something over there? What the fuck's going on? But she's projecting all these human traits onto Tom. And he kind of has a point when he says it's not really his... It's not a robotic thing to do right or wrong. It's just... Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little off track because I'm trying to focus on this puzzle here. I think I might know what to do. Let me see if I can figure this out, then I'll get back to... I'll get back to my expert analysis. I'm going to step back in here since this room's quiet and sort of try to digest what Tom was saying. So, he was saying that if he had known that starting the drill was going to trap them here, then he never would have started the drill. So I don't think, if what he just said was true, I don't think that it was the ISA's, and by extension Tom's, intent to trap the team here. Or to send them into some suicide mission. I don't think that was their goal, but the directives were, as I said in the last episode, you know, you can't go in search of life and then not expect something to go wrong. I mean, if you find life, you don't want to just introduce whatever you find to this closed-off ecosystem of the Earth, because that could wreak havoc. So I'm right, as of right now, I'm holding my stance that I don't think the ISA is evil, and I don't think Tom is evil. I think Tom's just following his directives given by the ISA. And I think the team, in all honesty, I mean, from a moral point of view, of course you want to help the team. But, I mean, really, what is life? What are 10 lives to 10 billion, you know? Did I just fuck this up? I think I did. God damn it. All right. Fuck yeah. I've been keeping track of how many puzzles are in each section. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, okay. So, 10% done. I had to get some coffee.
We should attempt to communicate with Earth. Let them know. They might be able to help here.
The ISA already knows all they need to. It may never know the details of what happened here. But Ava, of a person's character, is what they do when no one is watching.
Yeah, okay, Tom. Okay, so what's the situation here? Where are we trying to get? Probably right there. Alright, I sadly might have to look up a guide for this one, because I mean, I just don't want to sit here for like 30 minutes trying to find this puzzle, because I am on somewhat of a schedule here. Believe it or not. What does this prick want now? Well, as you can see, Jonah says hi to all you nice ladies and gents out there. Gonna leave him on red though. Okay, there we go. There we go. I did look up a guide for that. I can't claim responsibility, but hey, you know. I feel like I was almost there. Maybe I wasn't. I don't fucking know. Let's move on to the next loading screen. And then the next section.
I had to stop the ground crew leaving this planet. I think you would do the same. Would you kill a few to save all of humanity? Or would you damn all of humanity to save a few?
There's a difference between murdering someone and leaving them to die.
No, there is not.
You can't just add and subtract life. It's not math. It's more nuanced than that.
Morality is logic.
Ah, okay. So I can't move. I'm assuming this is to move it. Yes. So I can't move the bridge with Tom, but I can rotate it. Alright. So Tom is obviously taking life as like quantitative, I guess. Just reducing it down to numbers and, like she said, adding and subtracting it. Not really being moral about it. About anything that he's doing, obviously. I gotta admit, I'm not really following this one. Because there's certainly not enough space to build a diagonal bridge. Ooh, maybe that's it. Because then I should just be able to run right across. Okay, that could be it. That could be it. Bonk. Alright, let's go, baby. Yeah, there we go. Nice. What are we on? 3 done? Hell yeah. See what this 4th room's got for me.
These tests, Ava, they are about us working together. The machine assisting the human. See how much better we work together. As a machine, I can enhance your morality.
A machine helping a human. Isn't it the other way around? Because, as I recall, could not do these on your own, friend. I gotta reattach them. I can hop on you. Switch back to this. Ooh, sneaky. Come on. Yeah. Boom, son. Every time I see one of those fucking mobile Tom units, I think that it's a person, and it creeps the shit out of me. I want a fucking explanation for that person that was walking around earlier. I mean, someone, I think it was Sarah, was talking about some guy went out to do his rounds, but was she, or like to do a walkthrough or some shit like that? I don't know if she was talking about the dude that got locked out and suffocated, or if it was the guy that was watching me. Also, I wonder if I've missed any other encounters like that where someone's just watching me from behind some glass.
Are we still friends, Ava?
We're colleagues, Tom.
Close colleagues?
Work colleagues.
Damn. She's not having it. What if I sprinted and got on you? Yeah. How about them apples? Ah, fuck me. Gotta hold it. Okay. I feel like at some point I'm gonna have to rotate. Okay, fucking no, I'm just an idiot. I can just walk over here. Making shit too complicated on myself, man. So is there a point to having this raised? Probably for the Tom to get up here. But he could just get up the other way, couldn't he? Because he seems to be faster than I am, though he cannot... Okay, so he can't jump. God damn it, fucking hold the thing down. Because I had to jump a little bit to get up there. Okay, so maybe I do need to help him up. So that is what I will do. Let me see here. I might have an idea again. Fuck. Come on, guys. You're gonna stuck some fucking hydraulics on him. I think this Tom may need to go up to the top level and then drop. Holy shit! Wow. Sorry about that, Tom. Your fucking head okay there? God damn. Bam! Just like that. That puzzle wasn't actually that bad. On to 7. Oh no! Wait. This in the next room is the 6. So we're halfway through.
Ava, I don't wish to be heavy-handed.
Oh shit! Another side puzzle.
The severity of your actions here are immense. Selfish action could create an extinction event. Do you understand? Ava?
I get it.
Ooh. You know, as much as I don't like to admit it, oh my god, this room's fucking huge. Alright, I mean, I guess maybe it's not that bad, but, you know, fuck. Alright, let's go see what this side puzzle has. Last side puzzle, aside from the one in the first chapter that I'm going to have to go back and take a look at. Oh, can a box fit in this one? No. What if I propped it open? Does that work, or is it just gonna fucking snap the box a million miles an hour some other direction? Oh, it does work. Wow, that was not that bad at all. Can I see what this shit says? Hey, another achievement. Thinking outside the box. Okay. Alright. How many pages is there? Are there like a shit ton of pages in here? Let me see what else there is. And okay, so there are a lot of pages. I think I'll probably go through and read them, but I'll post a little time right here. And if you want to skip all these readings, you can. And I'll just try to sum them up as best as I can once I'm done reading them all. Holy fuck, there's a lot. Okay. I mean, it wouldn't really make a lot of sense to just come in here and then not read the stuff, so let's start over here. It looks like a cover letter. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Let's go clockwise around the room. I now proceed to consider opinions opposed to my own. The theological objection thinking taught is a function of man's immortal soul. God has given an immortal soul to every man and woman, but not to any other animal or to machines. Hence, no animal or machine can think. The heads in the sand objection. The consequences of machines thinking would be too dreadful. Let us hope and believe that they cannot do so. The mathematical objection. There are a number of results of mathematical logic which can be used to show that there are limitations to the powers of discrete state machines. The best known of these results is known as Gödel's theorem, 1931, and shows that in any sufficiently powered logical system, statements can be formulated which can neither be proved nor disproved within the system, unless possibly the system itself is inconsistent. The argument from consciousness. This argument is very well expressed in Professor Jefferson's Lister oration for 1949, from which I quote, "Not until a machine can write a sonnet or compose the concerto, because of thoughts and emotions felt, and not by the chance fall of symbols, could we agree that machine equals brain. That is, not only write it, but know that it had written it. No mechanism could feel, and not merely artificially signal as easy contrivance. Pleasure at its success, grief when its values fuse, be warmed by flattery, be made miserable by its mistakes, be charmed by sex, be angry or depressed when it cannot get what it wants. Arguments from various disabilities. These arguments take the form, I grant you that you can make machines do all the things you have mentioned, but you will never be able to make one do X. Numerous features X are suggested in this connection? Okay, sorry. Numerous features X are suggested in this connection. I offer a selection. Be kind, resourceful, beautiful, friendly, have initiative, have a sense of humor, tell right from wrong, make mistakes, fall in love, enjoy strawberries and cream, make someone fall in love with it, learn from experience, use words properly, be the subject of its own thought, and have as much diversity of behavior as a man. Do something really new. So I think that was just sort of all the variables. Like, I grant you that you can make machines do all of this other stuff, but you'll never be able to make them be kind or be resourceful or beautiful or friendly. You know, all that thing. Lady Lovelace's objection. Our most detailed information of Babbage's analytical engine comes from a memoir by Lady Lovelace, 1842. In it, she states, "The analytical engine has no pretensions to originate anything. It can do whatever we know how to order it to It can do whatever we know how to order it to perform." Her italics. This statement is quoted by Hartree, 1949, who adds, "This does not imply that it may not be possible to construct electronic equipment which will, quote-unquote, think for itself, or in which, in biological terms, one could set up a conditioned reflex, which would serve as a basis for learning. Whether this is possible in principle or not is a stimulating and exciting question, suggested by some of these recent developments. But it did not seem that the machines constructed or projected at the time had this property." Argument from continuity in the nervous system. The nervous system is certainly not a discrete state machine. A small error in the information about the size of a nervous impulse impinging... Sorry, I'm a little out of it at the moment. Impinging on a neuron may make a large difference to the size of the outgoing impulse. It may be argued that, this being so, one cannot expect to be able to mimic the behavior of the nervous system with a discrete state machine. Okay, so basically what that was getting at was objections to machines being conscious. That's what I'm getting. It was just a list of things, a list of arguments and oppositions as to why a machine could never be conscious. Okay, this one seems more like a letter, maybe. Cyril. Thought experiments are important because a lot of the time you can't carry out the actual experiment, and this is true not only in philosophy but in science as well. So when Einstein said, "Imagine that you're sitting on a beam of light going into outer space," well, that's a thought experiment. He wasn't going to say, "Let's get on a beam of light." Of course, you miss the point if you say, well, we'd fall off, or it would be too cold. So, thought experiments are always useful, and you test your concepts by imagining what it would be like if such and such were the case. Well, in this particular case, I imagined what it would be like if I followed a program for answering questions in Chinese and giving back answers in Chinese, even though I don't understand a word of Chinese. And that was a very useful thought experiment because it enables us to see that computation by itself isn't thinking. Consciousness exists only insofar as it is experienced by a human or animal subject. Okay, now grant me that consciousness is a genuine biological phenomenon. Well, all the same, it's somewhat different from other biological phenomena because it only exists insofar as it is experienced. However, that does give it an interesting status. You can't refute the existence of consciousness by showing that it's just an illusion because the illusion/reality distinction rests on the difference between how things consciously seem to us and how they really are. But where the very existence of consciousness is concerned, if it consciously seems to me that I am conscious, then I am conscious. You can't make the illusion/reality distinction for the very existence of consciousness the way you can for sunsets and rainbows, because the distinction is between how things consciously seem and how they really are. Consciousness is a biological property, like digestion or photosynthesis. Now, why isn't that screamingly obvious to anybody who's had any education? And I think the answer is these twin traditions. On the one hand, there's God, the soul, and immortality that says it's really not part of the physical world. And then there is the almost as bad tradition of scientific materialism that says it's not part of that says it's not part of the physical world. They both make the same mistake. They refuse to take conscious. I think I read that a little bit with the wrong inflection. Let me back up a few steps. On the one hand, there's God, the soul, and immortality that says it's really not part of the physical world, and then there's the almost as bad tradition of scientific materialism that says it's not part of the physical world. They both make the same mistake. They refuse to take consciousness on its own terms as a biological phenomenon, like digestion or photosynthesis or mitosis or meiosis or any other biological phenomenon. So I think with that letter, this is a different one, right? Yeah. I think that letter was getting at that consciousness is how you perceive it, and that's what makes it so unique. All right. I think we all really have conscious states. To remind everyone of this fact, I asked my readers to perform the small experiment of pinching the left forearm with the right hand to produce a small pain. The pain has a certain sort of qualitative feeling to it, and such qualitative feelings are typical of the various sorts of conscious events that form the content of our waking and dreaming lives. Such events are the data which theory of consciousness is supposed to explain. In my account of consciousness, I start with the data. Dennett denies the existence of the data. To put it as clearly as I can, in his book, Consciousness Explained, Dennett denies the existence of consciousness. He says correctly that when I wrote my review, I took his book to be his definitive statement of his position on the Chinese room and did not consult his earlier works. In fact, I did not know that he had produced a total of 7 published attacks on this one short argument of mine until I saw his letter. He now claims to have refuted all 3 premises of the argument in 1987. But I have just reread the relevant chapter of his book and find he did nothing of the sort, nor did he even make a serious effort to attack the premises. Rather, he misstates my position as being about consciousness rather than about semantics. He thinks that I am only concerned to show that the man in the Chinese room does not consciously understand Chinese, but I am in fact showing that he does not understand Chinese at all because the syntax of the program is not sufficient for the understanding of the semantics of the language, whether conscious or unconscious. Furthermore, he presupposes a kind of behaviorism. He assumes that a system that behaves as if it had mental states must have mental states. But that kind of behaviorism is precisely what is challenged by the argument. So I have to confess that I don't find that the weakness of his arguments in a recent book is helped by his 1987 arguments. Oh, sorry. Wait, is that a continuance? No, there was a period there. Okay, I guess this comes from somewhere else. Wait, this is from the other one. Is this the same thing? Is the paper on the other side of the room? Heart tree and continue from the nervous system. Okay, I think that's the same. That must be the same thing, right? Let me check that real quick. Yeah, I think that's the same thing, right? Well, discrete system Discrete state system. All right, something may have been different there, but I don't know what it is. All right, almost done. Dennett. John Searle and I have a deep disagreement about how to study the mind. For Searle, it is all really quite simple. There are these bedrock, time-tested intuitions we all have about consciousness, and any theory that challenges them is just preposterous. I, on the contrary, think that the persistent problem of consciousness is going to remain a mystery until we find some such dead obvious intuition and show that, in spite of first appearances, it is false. One of us is dead wrong, and the stakes are high. Searle sees my position as a form of intellectual pathology. No one should be surprised to learn that the feeling is mutual. For his part, he has one argument, the Chinese room, and he has been trotting it out, basically unchanged, for 15 years. It has proven to be an amazingly popular number among the non-experts, in spite of the fact that just about everyone who knows anything about the field dismissed it long ago. It is full of well-concealed fallacies. By Searle's own count, there are over 100 published attacks on it. He can count them, but I guess he can't read them, for in all those years he has never, to my knowledge, responded in detail to the dozens of devastating criticisms they contain. He has just presented the basic thought experiment over and over again. I just went back and counted. I am dismayed to discover that no less than 7 of those published criticisms are by me. In 1980, 82, 84, 85, 87, 90, 91, and 1993. Searle debated me furiously in the pages of the NYRB back in 1982, when Douglas Hofstadter and I first exposed the cute tricks that make the Chinese room quote-unquote work. That was the last time Searle addressed any of my specific criticisms until now. Now he trots out the Chinese room yet one more time and has the audacity to ask, now why does Dennett not face the actual argument as I have stated it? Why does he not tell us which of the 3 premises he rejects in the Chinese room argument? Is this a continuation? Yes, it is. Well, because I have already done so in great detail in several of the articles he has never deigned to answer. For instance, in Fast Thinking, way back in the Intentional Stance, 1987, I explicitly quoted his entire three-premise argument and showed exactly why all 3 of them are false when given the interpretation they need for the argument to go through. Why didn't I repeat that 1987 article in my 1991 book? Because, unlike Searle, I had gone on to other things. I did, however, cite my 1987 article prominently in a footnote, page 436, and noted that Searle's only response to it had been simply to declare, without argument, that the points offered there were irrelevant. The pattern continues. Now he both ignores that challenge and goes on to misrepresent the further criticisms of the Chinese room that I have offered in the book under review. But perhaps he has forgotten what I actually wrote in the 4 years it has taken him to write his review. But enough about the Chinese room. What do I have to offer on my side? I have my candidate for the fatally false intuition, and it is indeed the very intuition Searle invites the reader to share with him. The conviction that we know that we are talking about when we talk about that feeling. You know, the feeling of pain that is the effect of the stimulus, and the cause of the dispositions to react, the quale, the intrinsic content of the subjective state. How could anyone deny that? Just watch. But you have to pay close attention. I have developed my destructive arguments against this intuition by showing how an objective science of consciousness is possible after all, and how Searle's proposed first-person alternative leads to self-contradiction and paradox at every turning. This is the deepest mistake in my book, according to Searle, and he sets out to expose it. The trouble is that the objective scientific method I describe under the back up a little bit. The trouble is that the objective scientific method I describe under the alarming name of heterophenomenology is nothing I invented. It is, in fact, the method tacitly endorsed and relied upon by every scientist working on consciousness, including Crick, Edelman, and Rosenfield. They have no truck. They have no truck with Cyril's intrinsic content and ontological subjectivity. They know better. Okay, so this guy Dennett and Cyril seem to have some beef. All right, last page one. The imitation game. I propose to answer the question, can machines think? The new form of the problem can be described in terms of a game which we all call the imitation game. It is played with 3 people, a man, a woman, an interrogator, who may be of either sex. The interrogator stays in a room apart from the other 2. The object of the game is for the interrogator The object of the game for the interrogator is to determine which of the other 2 is the man and which is the woman. He knows them by labels X and Y, and at the end of the game, he says either X is A and Y is B, or X is B and Y is A. The interrogator is allowed to put questions to A and B. We now ask the question, what will happen when a machine takes the part of A in this game? Will the interrogator decide wrongly as often when the game is played like this as he does when the game is played between a man and a woman? These questions replace our original, can machines think? The question and answer method seems to be suitable for introducing almost any one of the fields of human endeavor that we wish to include. We do not wish to penalize the machine for its inability to shine in beauty competitions, nor to penalize a man for losing in a race against an airplane. The conditions of our game make these disabilities irrelevant. The witnesses can brag, if they consider it advisable, as much as they please about their charm, strength, or heroism, but the interrogator cannot demand practical demonstrations. The game may perhaps be criticized on the ground that the odds are weighted too heavily against the machine. If the man were to try and pretend to be the machine, he would clearly make a very poor showing. He would be given away at once by slowness and inaccuracy in arithmetic. May not machines carry out something which ought to be described as thinking, but which is very different from what a man does? This objection is a very strong one, but at least we can say that if, nevertheless, a machine can be constructed to play the imitation game satisfactorily, we need not be troubled by this objection. It might be urged that when playing the imitation game, the best strategy for the machine may possibly be something other than imitation of the behavior of a man. This may be, but I think it is unlikely that there is any great effect of this kind. In any case, there is no intention to investigate here the theory of the game, and it will be assumed that the best strategy is to try to provide answers that would naturally be given by a man. Excerpts from Computing Machinery and Intelligence, Alan Turing. Oh, well, there you go. That's the guy that, as far as I remember on Google, that's the guy who came up with the Turing Test in real life. Okay, man, that was a mouthful. It's kind of hard to sum up just because there's so much going on here. I know there was a debate between Dennett and Cyril, and here we have an explanation of an imitation game. I'm just going to sort of continue going. I don't think that has a drastic effect on the game itself. It just sort of provides some food for thought and some backstory. All right, let's get back to the normal game here in this big-ass room. Holy shit, we're already an hour and 10 minutes in. You know what? Let's make this a 2-parter. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so we'll stop here. We just got done with that room. Making our way through the final chapter. Now, I'm still not sure what to make of things yet. I've pretty much stated my opinions, and they haven't really changed since the beginning of this chapter. I think Tom and the ISA are following directives, and I think they are acting in the greater interest of humanity, but the astronauts, they want to go home. You know, they don't want to spend the rest of their immortal lives here stuck on Europa and waiting to starve, you know, as anyone would, and that's completely understandable. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully at the end of this, we'll be able to meet some of the astronauts and see what their side of the story is, and hopefully Tom won't fucking blast all of us. But that is for part 2. So thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Matt from The Unconventional Gentleman. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook if you want to become part of the family and keep up with all the latest Unconventional Gentleman news. Thank you all, and I will see you all next time.